As the diaspora community, we need to talk about the story of James and Natalie Feck, a British couple who relocated with their 2 children to Zimbabwe. The couple is from Northamptonshire, and they relocated sometime last year, 2024, to Zimbabwe from the UK. This story caught my attention, and it's been making rounds since last week and the week before. It's been in a lot of papers, and it's been subject of discussion. And I've been reading comments from the Zimbabwean African community and also from the English British community and what they're saying, and I drew a lot of lessons from it. I learned a lot. It opened my eyes to a lot of things, and I thought, well, I'll share with my viewers on here. I'll share with you subscribers on here, because it's things like these that we need to analyze and learn from. So I'm chuffed by their story, and one of the things that made me want to make this video is the fact that they relocated to a country that I relocated from, seeking greener pastures. So for me, it's a story of what is it that they saw that I didn't see. What is it that is in Zimbabwe that caught their eye? For me, it got me thinking. It got me looking at all the things, and we're going to be unpacking those things in this video. So all the more reasons why you need to stay tuned until the end, and also do subscribe if you haven't done so. And for those of you that are returning subscribers, thank you. And so a big welcome, and let's get right into it. A background story to this couple's story, to this family's story. So Natalie is 35 and James is 37. So they were living in the UK. They're British, so they lived in this country. But James was born in Zimbabwe, so he's got Zimbabwean roots, but he's a white man who was now living in the UK. And they've got 2 young children. And why I'm giving you this background story is because there are so many lessons to learn from, especially if you are in the UK, if you are an immigrant in the UK. There's so much that you can learn from there. And also, if you are still in Zimbabwe, there's so much that you can learn from. If you're in Africa, not just entirely Zimbabwe, but if you're from anywhere else across the globe, there's so many things that you can learn from their story. So what this couple did is they sold their home in the UK for nearly £500,000 when they were relocating, and they relocated in March of 2024, which is just last year. So many of you would want to know what is it that they were doing here in the UK, and this is so significant, especially for their journey in Zimbabwe. So Natalie worked as a baker. She had a business which demanded so much of her. 18-hour day she would spend in the bakery because she was working for herself. But for James, he worked in the automotive industry. So that's a working couple. So that's why they would afford a £500,000 home. But they made a decision to leave all of that. According to the story, they were fed up of the rat race. They were fed up of high bills, high cost of living in the UK. And that's a reality. We've been talking about it on this platform. We've shared why a lot of people are struggling, why a lot of people are feeling like it's not worth it really staying in the UK at the moment, because it's real. Bills are a reality at the minute. So they felt the pinch. So for me, why I'm mentioning all of that is because I know a lot of us migrants complain about it, make excuses about it, to say, well, life is difficult. This is an English couple. They couldn't cope with that. They couldn't. Childcare is one of the things as well that they mentioned that they were not coping, they were struggling with. So no wonder why they made the bold decision, they made the bold step to say, right, we're relocating to Zimbabwe. So when they moved to Zimbabwe, they moved into James' family home where he grew up in. So his parents had a house in Zimbabwe that they moved into, and it made life so easier. When they were comparing in this story, some of the things that they cut down on was they moved into this family home. They didn't have a mortgage to pay for. They didn't have exorbitant bills. Or they took advantage of sunshine in Zimbabwe. It's a sunny country. So it means they cut their bills, and according to their story, they're paying about £90 a month because they've got a solar system, so they don't pay for utilities. They now have house help. Healthcare system is a struggle if you're in Zimbabwe, and according to them, they pay about £450 a month for the family. Knowing, according to their story, and knowing Zimbabwe as I do, it's a country that is full of opportunities for people that want to venture into entrepreneurship. And with Natalie's mindset, already she was running a business in Zimbabwe. in the UK. So with all the experience that she has, with the mindset that she has, they are set for success in Zimbabwe. And it's one of the things that I always challenge my fellow diasporans to say, right, now that we are here, there are things, we are now seeing a system that works. And we could have so many takeaways that we can take back home and start implementing, and we could live a fulfilling life. Part and parcel, their kids are in private schools. And if you're in Zimbabwe, my kids used to go to private schools. The education is exceptional. The discipline there is amazing, brilliant. So it's not like their kids are being shortchanged or anything. If you can afford private education in Zimbabwe, you'll be set for life, because they do write Cambridge. The standard is amazing. And with them living in Harare, there are so many schools to choose from. So I think, according to my own view, my own perspective, I think that was a brilliant move. But there are things that we also need to talk about, especially in light of this wave where everyone is just relocating back home. That is this a sign that we also need to relocate back home? Are we ready for that conversation? Is it a step that we can take? So stay tuned and watch until the end, because we need to have this conversation. Most of the comments that I was seeing under this story on different platforms from a lot of people was, oh, did you not struggle? Natalie was honest enough to say they did struggle, just like anyone else relocating anywhere. And I've been sharing my story of how we struggled when we first came to the country. They struggled with loneliness, adjusting, building a community, connecting, and just figuring out how everything works, because this is a totally different ballgame altogether. But eventually they figured it out. So it's doable, actually. If they could do it, you and me can do it, and other people also can do it. And what I can tell you is some of the things that they did mention was that now they do have house help, which in this country you cannot afford it. You can't afford it, and you can't afford it, especially when you have children. Oh my God, childcare is one of the things that a lot of people are struggling with. But now they do have house help, and in Zimbabwe they cook, clean, and do everything literally for you, and you pay peanuts at the end of the day. I do remember when we had house help back home, when we still afforded, before we relocated, you could pay someone an equivalent of about $50 to $100, depending again on maybe what you require them to do and what you can afford. So it's literally doable. But let's get into the comparisons, because a lot of people want to know how worth it the move was. For them, some of the notable changes that they realized was that in the UK, you were literally working from hand to mouth. You were actually working so that you can pay your bills. Mortgage is waiting for you. Childcare is waiting for you. Cost of living is expensive, food is expensive. But when they moved to Zimbabwe, they had more free time because they have house help. They eat organic food. Some people grow their own food in their own gardens, so they've got house help. So they've got more time on their hands, more time to do the things that they love, more time to do other things that they actually enjoy. And sunshine in Zimbabwe is one of the things that they are privileged to have now. And according to Natalie, one of the things that she quoted was the fact that when they were in the UK, they would literally be left with nothing at the end of the month after paying all of their bills. But now it's like they're living for nearly nothing, because they don't have that many bills. They've got solar systems in place. The house help isn't that expensive. Is that not a good move? It's a question that I'm just posing to you. It's a question that I'm posing and I'm reflecting as someone who is living in the diaspora, and I'm just thinking, oh my God, that could be me. But there are things that they did that I want to point out that made that possible, or that is making that move a worthy move. Let's share the lessons that we can draw from this couple's move as diasporans. The first one is that adjustment will always be difficult, especially if you've got children or even as adults. Adjusting to a new country will always be difficult. That is a fact. It is a fact that we cannot deny or run away from. It is what it is. And for Natalie and James, they mentioned the things like accent, exchange rates. In Zimbabwe, it's a multi-currency country, so there is a lot of things that you have to adjust to. But eventually you get the hang of things. It's not like you can't cope. It's not like you cannot survive it. So adjustment is. The second lesson that I want to share with all of you that I drew from this couple's story, from their journey, James and Natalie, is the fact that you can leverage on what you have. They sold their house for $500,000 and now they are living the life that they never imagined they could. So many people do own these homes, abroad and still are scared to retire home, still are scared to make that bold step. For them, they did it. They sold that house for $500,000 and they're set for life. They're going to do so much. So a lot of people don't realize, what they have. Some are waiting until they retire, until they get their pension, and yet they're sitting on a fortune. And I do hope they can draw inspiration and draw courage from this couple's story and the move that they made. The other lesson that I drew from their story is the courage to try. So many people dream of relocating back home. So many people plan of relocating back home, but they never take the bold step to do so. I was talking to a couple who came here to the UK 20 years ago. They do have plans to retire home eventually, but at the moment, they're a bit skeptical about taking the bold move. But let's draw lessons and courage from this couple story, because until you make the bold decision to say, right, I'll take the step, I will do it and see how it goes, sometimes we don't know what we are missing simply because we lack the courage to try. Last but not least, on the lessons, for James and Natalie, they moved into a family back home. A lot of people do have these properties that they left back home. A lot of people do have plots and properties that their parents left for them. We can learn from this couple story that we are sleeping on an investment. We are sleeping on something that would change our lives totally, that could turn around our lives. With the little that we have abroad here, with whatever investments that we've done abroad here, we could relocate to that childhood home, to that childhood rural home, to that childhood dot that your parents left you in, and you can live a life that you never imagined you could. But you can only do so if you take the bold step to say, right, I'll give it a try. So this is a wake-up call for some of us in the diaspora to say it doesn't really take so much from you to start building and preparing back home slowly. I've seen a lot of people doing it. A lot of people are fine, they're focusing on their life here because they live here, but they've started preparing back home, preparing for where they would want to live. And there's nothing wrong with, if you can do it while you're still fit and strong, young and strong, and can still do so much. Actually, it could be that which can give you then the courage to say, right, I'm relocating back home in my 40s. I'm relocating back home in my 50s. It's a discussion that we can take into the comments if you feel otherwise, or if you're at that stage where you're making that move to say, right, I'm moving into a family home. I'm moving into a rural home. I'm moving into a childhood plot that we've always had or that my parents left for me. Leave in the comments and share with us your experience. And if you would like to share your story on our platform, do reach out. I'll put and attach my email that you can reach out to me, and then we can see what we can do and we can hear your story. Your diaspora journey matters to us. It's close to our heart. And this is the best way in which that we can support each other. We can show each other support and we can encourage each other. If you've lived in the country for so long and you've struggled to do it, share in the comments and reach out to us with your story and share with us the lessons, the struggles that you faced over time that have actually stopped you from making that bold move. And if you've managed to do so as well, please do reach out to us. Share with us your story and we'll share with the world and encourage each other and strengthen each other to say, if they could do it, we too can do it. We cannot have such an insightful conversation and not talk about some of the lessons that even people who are back home, not just Zimbabwe, but everywhere else in Africa, can learn from stories such as that of James and Natalie. The first lesson that I want to share with you, if you're a fellow African and you're still back home, is that see value around you. Some of the things that they were pointing out, things like, oh, we are leveraging on having sunshine all year round, so we've got solar system and we don't have to pay for electric. Those are things that we never see, we never appreciate. And it took me really living in the UK to realize that sunshine is gold. It's the little things, the way they appreciate organic food, the fact that you can actually grow your own vegetables, keep your own chickens for food. Here in the UK, you can't do that. The weather doesn't allow you to do that. There's no space for you to do that. They literally see the value around you, because it's these things that other people who are coming from far and wide are seeing. It's the very same things that Natalie and James saw when they were making the decision to say, right, we're going to sell our home and we'll raise our family in Zimbabwe. So if you're still in Zimbabwe, see the value around you and start leveraging on it. I think I'll make future videos because I've noticed that in Zimbabwe, there's so many other people, so many other nationalities. The Chinese are there. Everyone from everywhere is flocking to Africa. What is it that they're flocking to? And it's about time that we wake up as Africans and we begin to see that and begin to leverage on that. We need to shift our mindset. Instead of seeing struggle all the time, at times we need to see success, because it's the very things that we see as struggle that other people from other countries and other nationalities sees or view as opportunities. I'll give you a very good example to say. Natalie and James were saying, oh, we could literally have house help and free up our time for other things. And we can only do that when we are in Zimbabwe than when we are back home. Or our children can still have the same world-class education going into a private school in Zimbabwe. And these are the things that they could not afford if they were still back here. So instead of us always mourning, and I'm one of those people who made videos where I would mourn, I would say, well, we were struggling, that's why we relocated to the UK. I think it's a mindset thing, it's a mentality change thing. And I think as a community, as the African community, it's about time that we shift our mindset, we shift the way we see and view the things around us, the things that are surrounding us. Instead of seeing struggle, we need to start seeing opportunities. We need to start seeing how we can turn that into success, how we can leverage on things like that. Our mindset just needs to shift. And I'm not saying the diaspora is a bad thing. I advocate for the diaspora. I believe so much in the diaspora journey, but having traveled and now that I'm seeing other people leaving the same diaspora that I came for, I'm just thinking there is actually more that we can do in terms of how we view where we came from. Last but not least, I want to talk about collaboration. Not everyone needs to leave the country. And it's about time that we need to start reaching out to incredible, legit people. There are so many people that we left. It could be family, it could be friends, it could be people that we went to school with. And I know this is a bone of contention, especially amongst our community. It could be like-minded fellow countrymen who are still back home. You could actually collaborate with those people while you're in the diaspora. Start linking up with those people and working with those people to build a legacy back home, because there is gold where we're coming from. There are opportunities there, and these are the very same opportunities that everyone is flocking to at the minute. Natalie and Jem's story really is challenging us. It actually made me think that, are we just living for the sake of living, or we are thriving to build the life that we desire, a life that we appreciate? And for them, this involves having free time, time for other things, time for you to start and build a business, leveraging on things like good and nice weather, eating organic food, and not just living in the red race. These are the questions that we need to ask ourselves every now and then as people that are living in the diaspora. And as a Zimbabwean, this made me really think long and hard. No wonder why I made this video. And also, if you're in Zimbabwe or Africa or anywhere else, this is the time where you ask yourself certain questions and around what is it that other people who are out there are seeing that I can't see. What are some of the opportunities that surround me that I can leverage on? It's not everyone that has to leave the country to make it. Some can actually make it. Some can do lots where they are at. So what is it that you think? Do you think you could see yourself living in the UK or living whatever country you are living in right now to relocate back home and with your children, with your whole family, start afresh? It's a question that I'm posing to you. Do you see yourself actually selling your property abroad to relocate back home? And if you're in Zimbabwe, is Zimbabwe turning out to be better in terms of opportunities? For those of you that have relocated, for those of you that have actually done both, what has your experience been like? Please do share in the comments. And thank you for watching, and thank you for supporting this channel. I'll see you in my next video. And don't forget to share, subscribe, and if you haven't done so, give us a thumbs up. It will help us reach other people. So that's all I had for you in this video. I'll see you in our next one. Bye for now.